Happy New Year. How you doing? Welcome back to Smoking Cheltenham. Hope you've got a new flask for Christmas there. We'll do our best, try and keep it under an hour, but we've had a lot going on, haven't we? So we'll see. Right, we kind of covered it, didn't we? Up to and including Boxing Day. I popped in and saw you last week, so we'll sort of take it from the 27th-ish. Just yeah, we'll say just a few little bits from before that, I guess. Crambo would be he's a contender now for the Stayers Hurdle. He's going to stay every inch of the trip and he's improving. So, yeah, he's a contender for that. Django Bay, liked him. You suspect he'll be going up in trip. I think he could be interesting for the Ballymore. He's a contender for that. Ile Francais, as we suggested, he does skip Cheltenham. But yeah, he'd be a worthy favourite for this year's King George now. Alho looks a terrible price for the Ryanair, I'd say. No flies on him. Yeah, said I was impressed with that. I'm really impressed with that. Jumped well, looked had plenty of pace. It's that Westerner, so you'd imagine he'd stay well. I've got to admit, I threw a little bit of change on this guy at a mad price for the Supreme on Betfair. I'm not putting him up here just yet, but yeah, I think you could do worse than have a little bit at a silly price on him. I think he'll be going grade 1 next. I think he'll be going that grade 1 at the DRF, the 2 mile one, I'd have thought. I know JP's well represented in the Supreme. He's got a favourite there at the moment, hasn't he? But yeah, he wouldn't mind having a couple of runners in that. I think that's where he'll go next, and I wouldn't be ruling him out of that. If I had to pick any holes at all, it'd be, I suppose, the last maybe 100 yards or so, the last 50 yards maybe. You'd like to have seen him hit the line a bit harder there. But I'd forgive him that because it were his first run of the season. He were giving race fitness away to his rivals there. So, I'd forgive him that. I was really impressed with him. The time was, as mentioned before, it was 3.5 seconds quicker than the Mirzor West maiden hurdle. So, yeah. The rest of it, I just wanted to add them little bits, really. Right then. So Wednesday the 27th. Kempton 2 mile juvenile hurdle. Sergino beat Royal Way 14 lengths. He were touch keen early. He looked very raw, but he looks like he's got a big engine, and I'd say he looks like Nicky's number 1 Triumph hurdle contender. I think he's his Triumph hurdle horse. So you'd have to respect that. He's definitely a contender there for the Triumph hurdle. So a lot of these races aren't gone into just in quite as much depth as I normally would, just because there's that many. We could be here for days, so I tried to keep it as concise as I could, but you know what I'm like, no doubt we'll have a couple of rambles there. Go on, Blue, chill. Chill, go on, lie down. Having it. Just be for a good walk as well. Go lie down. Go lie down. Leopardstown, 2 mile beginners, 2 mile 1 furlong beginners, Marine National. He did stick the knife in, didn't he? Thought he might. He beat Firm Footings here, 8.5 lengths. Luke, lie down. Go on. Right, he jumped to the front at the first, never saw another rival. He jumped well. He was nimble when he had to be, and he looked all over an Arkle horse here. He did. He's unbeaten, 6 out of 6 now, including a 3-length beating of Facile Vega in the Supreme. As you know, I had my doubts if he'd take to fences, but he put those doubts to bed here. The only question really you'd have against him, as I mentioned before, is just the kind of spacing of his runs. For some reason, he's always had a long break between his runs. I don't know if that's just by design or just how it's kind of fell. It was certainly a bit unusual going straight from the Royal Bond to the Supreme last year. He's always had at least a 53-day break between his runs. But now he'll be having 38 days to the Irish Arkle, and then, funny enough, bang on another 38 days to the Arkle. So, you know, he's always had 53 days between each run, and now he'll be having like 3 runs within 76 days. I mean, that seems a reasonable amount of time to have. It's just something he's not done before, but there's no reason to believe he can't do it. It's just he's not done it before. Like, I don't know why he's always had them breaks. Yeah, I mean, he's always trained him with balls, hasn't he, the trainer there, but you wouldn't be surprised, I wouldn't be shocked anyway to see him go straight to the Arkle. That would take some balls, but I think the likelihood is he's going to go to the DRF. He did say that. So I expect he'll turn up there, and I expect Willie will throw the kitchen sink at this horse. I don't think Gaelic Warrior, though. I know there's been a bit of chat about dropping Gaelic Warrior. I don't see that. I don't see why they do that. I mean, to me, Gaelic Warrior at Cheltenham, you hope there is that he's running on a different track to before. He's running on the new course in the Turners rather than the course he's sort of underperformed on the last 2 years. That new course should suit him better. So I don't see a world really where Willie sends him to the Arkle. I expect, to be honest, I mean, Willie Mullin's been going all that into it, but personally, I'd have thought he'd give Facile Vega another crack. So I'd expect, I've jotted down a few names here, I think Facile Vega will line up against him. Blood Destiny, I think he'll drop him. He'll give him a chance. Hunter's Yarn, I think he'll go there. And probably Ilite Tomps, I think he'll drop him down too. And maybe even Mr. Policeman, he could maybe chuck him in too. Well, he's kind of got to win a beginners somewhere first, hasn't he? So yeah, I think Willie will throw it all at him. But he's going to take some beating, isn't he? He does look good. He does. In the pocket as well, he's kind of had a setback, hasn't he? I mean, Facile Vega were like a biggest Arkle bet, our biggest bet of all in the Arkle. We'd had each way in the pocket at 20s. I mean, he couldn't have gone any worse for us, really, the Arkle. Yeah, Facile Vega blew out last. Marine National comes out, jumps great, looks awesome. And I like cover bet there in the pocket. He's picked up some sort of injury. I've got no idea how serious it is. I just can't find anything out, so I don't know how long he's going to be out for. So yeah, I mean, he's 10 to 11 now, Marine National. If he puts these away in the Irish Arkle, you're going to be looking at a 2 to 5 shot, I'd say. But I think we're just going to have to suck it up and see from our point of view. Yeah, we'll just see. Like I say, Vassal Vega, he's got 3 lengths to make up on him from the Supreme. But I'd say unless these 3, unless he can't take 3 runs in 76 days, like, unless there's something in that, or otherwise I'd say we'll need some like heavy in the ground for Vassal Vega, and that could make it close. I wouldn't give up on Vassal Vega. I do think he needs that cut in the ground, and I will be interested to see him with that cut in the ground against Marine National. I think he'll give him a race at least anyway if he gets some soft ground. But yeah, I admit he'd be up against it, I guess, but you never know. Right. 2 mile 1, Grade 1 Rewards Club Chase. Dino Blue beat Gentleman Demise 7.5 lengths here. Gentleman Demise took them along at a good clip. Dino sat second, 5 lengths or so behind. They tried new tactics on Dysart Dynamo, didn't they? They tried to hold him up. He didn't like that. Dino Blue took it up on the approach to the last and kept on well. Captain Guinness ran no sort of race here at all, was pulled up. Yeah, good result for us this. We thought this were a good bet, a cracking bet. Dino Blue came back 9 to 4. She keeps progressing, and she could find herself in the Champion Chase or the Mares Chase. She's favourite for the Mares Chase. She'd have a stamina to prove there. I still wouldn't know. I wouldn't know about her stamina, but she's certainly improving. Really, for me, the big takeaway from this race, Gentleman Demise ran. This isn't really his ground. He's not got a good record first time out, but I thought he ran really well here. I'd imagine he'll go for the Dublin Chase again that he won last year. There'll be no El Fabiolo there. I'd fancy him quite strongly for that. I think if he meets Dino Blue again there, I'd give him a good shout anyway, reversing the form. Yeah. And I guess if he did, then yeah, Dino Blue would probably go up to the Mares Chase, wouldn't they? And they'd probably throw Gentleman Demise into the Champion Chase as a bit of backup there. Future Champions Novice Hurdle. 2 mile. Caldwell Potter beat Predators Gold 6.5 lengths here. Westport Cove led. We're clear from Caldwell Potter, and Predators Gold they sort of sat second and third. On the run to the 2 out, leader dropped away quickly. Caldwell Potter were like a length up, jumping the last. He kicked 4 or 5 clear off the turn for home. The second last. Yeah, he went a length up, jumping the second last. He kicked 4 or 5 lengths clear off the turn for home. He won tidy at the last, but Predators Gold were worse, and he stayed on strongly. After this race, Connection said he'd be going up in trip, as would the second. Daddy Longlegs and Down Memory Lane were disappointing here. I'd say they were maybe found out by the tough conditions. It did look tough going. It were heavy. Just at this stage in the developments, maybe they just found it all a bit too much. I'm sure they're decent horses. I won't be writing them off. But yeah, tough race for young horses. This. The kind of stayers came to the fore, didn't they? 3 mile Paddy Power handicap chase. Meeting of the Waters beat Panda Boy 4.5 lengths. Right, Meeting of the Waters, he were prominent early, then he were kind of allowed to drift back into mid-division before closing right up on the turn for home. I thought this were a cracking ride from Danny, and I thought he won this like a very well handicapped horse. Go on, Blue. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. She's not having it, is she? He took this off 130. I'd say he'd be going up best part of the stone for this, but maybe he's still got another race in him off that mark. He's improving. James de Burley took my eye here. This were his first handicap off a mark of 148. He's been mainly contested Grade 1 races since he's been at Willys. First time tongue tie. He was prominent on the inside throughout. He took it up 5 out, and he only really gave best to the winner after the last. He faded on the run-in to be beaten 10 lengths at the line, and it looked really like he didn't quite get home. Yeah, I think he'd be interesting in a handicap drop slightly and trip there off that mark. It could even be a type for the plate at Cheltenham, that sort of race. Panda Boy, I think the commentator optimistically said he'd be maybe going one better next year. I don't know about that myself. I backed him in this last year, and I thought he came there with every chance last year, and he's just an horse. I don't know. I don't think he likes winning, to be honest, but he's well handicapped. He might pop up in Summit, but he wouldn't be having my money on him anyway. 2.5 mile bumper that closed the card, I didn't think that were a good look really. Joystick kept on bravely here, told Arctic Lane by a length. They were 25 lengths clear, these two. He looks a nice stayer. He might need some time after this, I'd imagine. And I don't know, I just wonder if 2.5 mile bumpers are really sort of necessary. I mean, at the end of the day, bumpers, they're to give the horse an education, aren't they? And you want to give a horse, these young horses, a kind of positive experience first time out of the race course. This didn't look that to me. Just my opinion there. Limerick. Grade 2, 2 miles 6.5 Dawn Run Mares Novice Chase. Horterier beats St. Donna 35 lengths here. On Monumaker, I thought actually ran well here, but she just looked like she didn't stay. I don't think she got home. As such, the race did kind of fall apart in what were effectively a match. But I won't take too much away from the winner here, who showed the benefit of a pipe opener over 2 mile and relished the step up in trip. She's progressing nicely, and I'd say she's a lively contender for the mare's chase. And 20-1, so looks on the big side to me. That looks quite generous. Lou, go and lay down. Go on, lie down. Come on, chill. Right then. Thursday, the 28th, 2.5 mile maiden hurdle. Jade de Grugy beat Butcher Hollow 15 lengths here. They kind of shared the lead throughout. I thought Jade de Grugy jumped particularly well. The quick and turning for home. She took his measure on the approach to last and kind of drew steadily clear. I thought this were very impressive. We did say, didn't we, I wonder if Willie is going to pull an ace out over Christmas for this mare's hurdle, the mare's novice hurdle. And I think this is that ace. She will have to prove effective, drop back in trips. She did seem to relish this test. She just seemed to be going further and further clear. This was like 2.5 mile on heavy ground. But she does look classy. Kenny Alexander mare. And the time were good as well compared to the handicap. I'd say she looks overpriced at 14 to 1. I mean, this mare's novice hurdle now. We've got Dysart Enos, Brighter Days Ahead, Jade de Grugy, and Only by Night, and they all look top draw to me. They do. I kind of think any of these would have won last year's running. I'd say this looks like this is making up into the best ever edition of this. Some cracking mares going here. But I would say Only by Night and Jade de Grugy look overpriced in relation to the front two in the market there. Right then, 2 mile 5.5 beginners. Factor File beat Zanny here, 17 lengths here. Minella Kakuna led. Factor File sat sort of second or third for most of the race. He jumped to the front three out and just drew away. This were impressive. He has come on plenty, hasn't he, for that first run. I do think the race kind of fell apart a bit. I'm not quite sure what he beat here. And it was funny, the first time we watched this horse, I thought he's a Turner's horse. And this time I watched him, I thought he's a Brown's horse. But then subsequent events have kind of threw some doubt over that. So we're still not quite sure. I was looking through my bets the other day, and I think I seem to back this horse again and not told you. So apologies for that. I think up to now we've got a point on him for the Turners at 14s. Yeah, so I'll make that. We'll throw another point on him at 14s for that. We've kind of got him back for both there. We're on the Browns at 28s, aren't we? And want him for this at 14s. I'm still not sure where he goes. I'm hoping this would clear it up a bit, but yeah, I still don't know. I think Willie had it in his head, the Browns. But yeah, because of what happened later, maybe not, I don't know. Right. The 3 mile Jack de Bromhead Christmas hurdle. Irish Point beat Asterian Phalange 11 lengths here. Home by the lead led. He was trying to make it a stamina test, weren't he? But he didn't look to enjoy it leading, and it often kind of had to be sort of rousted along there. Irish Point, he settled in fourth on the inside. Jack switched him off the rail approaching to 2 out. He kind of cut through the field travelling well. Took it up approaching the last, and he stretched well clear. Hit the line hard. I thought this were really impressive. I did. I did in my head going into this race, if he stays this trip, he'd be the one for the Stayers Hurdle. So I watched this pretty much as he crossed the line. I did back him for the Stayers Hurdle. Now, he's won his last 4 now, and every time I see this horse, he just looks more impressive to me. He's improving quite rapidly, I'd say. He's got top class grade 1 form at 2 mile, 2.5 mile, and 3 mile now. In them last 4 races he's won, he's improved £16 in official ratings. I thought this was impressive in that going from 2 mile to 3 mile, he settled well. He looks very professional to me. He looks an uncomplicated horse. Now, I've had 4 points on him, like a decent bet. I've had 4 points on him for the Stayers at 6-1. Now, it's up to you. I can understand if you'd rather not, because 6-1, you're probably not getting all that much, and he's still not a guaranteed runner, is he? He said he may go to Aintree. He'd like to keep him and Teapot apart. Bar. I don't know. I mean, Bob Ollinger is going. Bob Ollinger did well, didn't he? He's going to that Aintree race. They did name check that. I just don't see why he wouldn't run this in the Stayers Hurdle. He's now officially rated £3 behind Teapot. But he's got a lot of upside to him, this horse. I think he looks class. I know a lot were saying after this race it didn't really prove his stamina because they didn't go that fast, but he was still it was near enough 3 mile on heavy ground this, and you know, he weren't stopping at the line. I'd be happy enough he'd be getting the trip, I would. And I don't think there's much in the race that would have his sort of class at 2.5 mile. I just don't see a world where you don't have a horse like this and you don't run it at Cheltenham. I just don't. I think he'll have to run, and you know, if Jack rides him or Teapot, I don't know. I know it's not a decision he wants to make, and he'll be pushing to split these horses up, because at the end of the day, Bob Ollinger is Rachel's ride, isn't it? So it'd make it easier to double up in the Aintree Hurdle, wouldn't it, from that point of view, from the jockeys. So he's not nailed on to run here, but I think he's the best horse in the race, and I've backed him anyway. I have. I'd be amazed if they didn't run him, but maybe they won't. But you know, he looks like the winner to me anyway. I mean, there's been talk of Impera Pass in the Stayers. I don't know. I can't see that. I don't think he'll go Stayers. Teapot, he should have won it last year. Yeah, he could have won it, or maybe nearly won it with a better ride, I get that, but he had his ground, and when you look at his form in Ireland, to me, he shouldn't have just won it or nearly won it. He should have destroyed that field last year. I think your hopes with Teapot rest on something Gordon said a little while back, in that he said he thought the Galmoy kind of knocked the edge off this horse, and he weren't the same horse in the Stayers. Maybe true. That's why they're going straight there this time. I'd prefer this Irish point. I would. It wouldn't be for me, Teapot. Crambo, I think's got a live chance. You know he's going to stay. Sir Gerard is coming into this. I don't know if he'll stay. Don't know if he will. You don't know what this French horse is, do you? At the end of the day, this is not going to be one of the races you can be fully confident on at Cheltenham, I don't think. because you've got this unknown with a French horse in there. So Gerard looks like going in there, and you're not going to know about his stamina, but certainly if he gets the 3 mile, he's got to have a massive chance. But I think there is a big doubt about that, you know. So 6-1, I don't think he's stealing much either, and he might not even run. But I backed him myself, so I'll put him up here, like, you know. It's up to you. I really like him. I did. I thought this was good. Right then. Savills Chase, 3 mile, grade 1. Galloping beat Jerry by 23 legs. 23 legs. Conflated led. Galloping, he jumped off Andy in second. We thought he might run Andy this time. Jerry tracked him through. So after jumping 3 out on the approach to 2 out, Jerry came off the bridle along with everything else apart from one horse. Galloping, he was still swinging, weren't he? He was swinging, turning in. He took it up. He binged the last and he sprinted clear like he just joined in. He did. The king is back. He's back. Do you know? I'll be watching racing for a good while now, like 30 odd years. I don't think I've ever seen a better performance in a grade 1 3 mile chase than this. Seen some good performances, some great performances. I don't think I've ever seen anything any better. This was just awesome, I thought. I mean, these are good horses in behind, and he's made them look like selling platers, you know. He has. Right, yeah. He was 7-4 at the beginning of the season, and I thought he had questions to answer. He looked to me like he was losing his speed a bit, you know. After he looked fine in the John Durkin, but then after that, I thought he was losing his speed a bit, and that is what happens when these horses start going over the top. They rode him different here. I think that's definitely made a good difference. But I mean, he were mad at this horse, weren't he? And they calmed him right down, settled him down, got him, you know, to stay the Gold Cup and all that. But then he looked like he was getting too slow, and then it's like Willie's just got him on a fucking dial. He's just like, you know, fast, slow, medium, whatever. And I mean, it's been said many times, but the man is a genius. How you can't do it. You can't train like that. You can't just have a horse on a fucking dial like this, but he has, hasn't he? It's unbelievable, he is. He is. I mean, you look at the Gold Cup, fast or slow, he's beat Galloping the last twice, hasn't he? But that weren't this Galloping. This is the real Galloping, isn't it? I'd say this is a better Galloping than we saw last year. It is. Gentleman's Game's improving. I don't think Jerry was at his best here. He can't have been at his best here. I think he's better than this, but it don't matter. It don't matter. We got like try pick some each ways out, like, you know, against him. Correct Rambler might get a place. Say Gentleman's Games unexposed, improving. Fast or slow is. We've got the Venetia Williams horse supposed to be coming back soon. Blue, come on, lie down, come on. But to be honest, to be truthful, they're all playing for places, aren't they? There's only, you know, Galloping turns up in the Gold Cup in this sort of form. They're all running for second, they are. So, you know, you were never going to get rich back in this fella for the Gold Cup. All we can do now is have a decent bet on him at some point. and we did leave enough room. At least we didn't go like the Arkle. We did leave plenty of room here in case Galloping came back. To have a good bet on Galloping and still make a nice little profit. So it'll only be a small profit, but we'll make a profit at least anyway. Yeah, some of these, sometimes it's just like that. You're not going to make a lot of money off them. You just have a little bit on and just sit back and enjoy the show, don't you? I did have a bit of a sort of muggy looking treble after this race. Should know better really. But I did have a little treble on Marine National 10 to 11, El Fabiolo 10 to 11, and this fella at 11 to 8. Looks good on paper, but normally something goes wrong, doesn't it? But yeah, just try and get something running onto him, I suppose. Right, Limerick, 2 mile 5 maiden hurdle. I'll give this a quick mention. There were lots of interesting potential handicappers in this. Built by Ballymore took this by 12 lengths from Native Speaker. If you remember, we did mention he was interested in horse this. He was very impressive here. I thought he's going to make up into a cracking chaser. I don't know how important the ground is to him. It were heavy, it's Limerick, isn't it? So I don't know if he needs that or not, but he's an horse to keep on the right side of, I'd say, built by Ballymore. It's interesting. And the other race at Limerick that day, 2 mile 3.5, grade 1 for Heen, novice chase. Gaelic Warrior beat Elite Tomps by 5.5 lengths here. He led. He made quite a bad mistake at the third, but he got away with that. He slowed it down on the long run to 2 out. Danny had a look up the inside there, didn't he? That didn't go down too well. Then Gaelic just quickened away again. He did put in some spectacular jumping here, mostly to the right, but yeah, some spectacular jumping. He's top price 5 to 4 for Cheltenham. I just think it's roughly the same price as Galloping. I know which one I'd rather be backing at that price anyway. It's like he's priced up on his form right-handed here. They're not taking into account his left-handed form. We broke it down, didn't we, a while back there, and it reads very different. It does. I wonder if he may skip doubling, this fella. I don't know. He's got lots of cards to shuffle, anti-Willie, in these novice chasers. I just thought it just popped to my head. He could go to Sandown for the grade 1 2.5 miles Scilly Isles that Jerry took last year. Surely that would be a penalty kick for him, and it's a grade 1. It's not like Willie to turn down a penalty kick in a grade 1. The one thing is, it's early February. It does clash with the first day of Dublin Racing Festival, so that could present a problem with the jockeys. I'm not sure what they'd do, so he may go there. If not, I guess he will probably go to Leopardstown. If he went to Sandown, then I say, well, the Mullins bingo thing, didn't we? We ran through them horses he could have in the Irish Arkle, and I think in the what used to be the Moriarty, he could have like Grange Clare West and Factor File in there. He may send, maybe he'll send this fella to Sandown. We'll see. Right, Friday the 29th. Right, we're kind of running out of time, so we're going to skip through these a little quicker. I didn't have as much time for these ones. So yeah, the Pigs Back 2.5 mile maiden hurdle, Ballyburn. He beat Clayton's Pool Law 25 lengths here. He were very impressive. He's been slashed for the Ballymore now, sort of 7-2-ish. He's in a recycle bin. We've got him at 8-1. He wants to come out. He's asking to come out. He said, sorry, can I come out of the recycle bin? Fuck him, we'll leave him in there. We'll leave him in there for a bit longer. Stay in that bin. For now. This weekend, right, we've got the Lawlers and Ace, haven't we? And we look to have a big show down there, I'd say, between Firefox and Il Atlantique. For me, in Ireland so far, the three most impressive novice hurdlers we've seen, sort of Firefox, Ballyburn and Il Atlantique. Firefox beat Ballyburn. There weren't much between. I mean, Ballyburn could have improved. He certainly seemed to relish this step up, this extra half a mile, in all seriousness. I think he did. But Willie is saying we'll see how this Lawlers and Ace goes. And I think he's hoping he can beat Firefox. And if he does, I think Ballyburn will end up in the Supreme. But that's obviously an if. They did meet last year, and there weren't much between them. Firefox just got the better of the Atlantique by 3/4 of a length. They both look to me like they've grown and strengthened tremendously. They look different horses this year. I don't think there'll be much between them this weekend. There's not much between them in the betting either this weekend. There are other good horses in there as well. It's by no means a two-horse race. The likes of Antuber and a few others in there as well. But Firefox looked so good last time, and I thought Il Atlantique did as well. I think the Ballymore winner is the Lawlers and Ace winner. I do. Now, there's not much between them in the betting this weekend. But for Cheltenham there is. Firefox's top price 7s. Il Atlantique's top price 20s. I don't see that. So this could be a very short-lived addition to the squad. But I've just had 2 points on Il Atlantique for the Ballymore. I had to take, I backed it on Betfair, so I backed it around 17-1 because I can't get on at 20s. Sort of 17, 18-1 there. Yeah, and he could be in the bin Sunday evening. But if he wins, I think you're looking at the new favourite. So it is, I wouldn't be confident he'd beat Firefox, but I'd say it's a coin toss, I would. I just think it's worth having a little pop at the price there. Particularly, we've already got Ballyburn in the bin, haven't we? So I think one of these two horses is probably Willie's Ballymore horse. So yeah, I'll have a couple of points, Il Atlantique. We'll call it 16s for purposes of this because I can't get 20s. But if you wanted to play him, you can get a bit of 20s there. It could look genius or it could look daft. We'll know Sunday evening. I were impressed with Il Atlantique. do think he's an exciting horse. Obviously, 5 Fox 4 looks really strong with Ballyboy going in so well after. But like I said, there weren't much between these last year, and it might be that way again. He did look a different horse to me, Atlantic, just physically. He's going to relish the step up to 2.5 miles, I'd say. And yeah, he looked like, I watched the bumper back last year where 5 Fox beat Atlantic, and he were kind of travelling over 5 Fox at one point. 5 Fox stayed on well. He looked weak to me last year, but I think he's strengthened up a lot in Atlantic. And to be honest, I'd just favour him over 5 Fox. I think he might beat him on Sunday. And if he beats him Sunday, he's going to be favourite for the Ballymore. So, yeah, I'll have a couple of points on him. Right then. Grade 3, 2.5 mile Mares Hurdle. Gitara beat Pink in the Park 7.5 lengths. She's improving fast, this Gitara. Jesse name-checked the Nathaniel and Lacey at the DRF for her after this, and should be an interesting contender there, getting £7 from the boys. I thought Rispel travelled well here, but didn't get home. Handicap marker 137. I think she's still improving. She just didn't get home here and dropped back in trip. She could be dangerous off that mark, I'd say. The Grade 1 Neville Hotels Novice Chase 3 mile. Grange Clare West. Yeah, he beat Corbett's Cross 6 lengths here. It were very impressive. It were all on the bridle, and I just wonder, what is he going to find off the bridle? I don't know. For me, he's just not a Cheltenham horse, and he's 7-2, 4-1 now favourite for Cheltenham. I don't know. He's not for me at Cheltenham. It's probably the one race we've done all right in over Christmas from an ante-post point of view. We sat on a few nice tickets there. Corbett's Cross again made mistakes. He's not the most fluent, but I wouldn't be ruling him out anything just yet. He does look a Brown's horse, and maybe that will also factor in where Factor File goes a little. I prefer him in the Browns, I would, but he could end up in the Turners. But to be fair, 5-4, say we're having a match bet, Gaelic Warrior versus Factor File in the Turners. You got 5-4 Gaelic Warrior and 14-1 Factor File. All day long I'd be on Factor File at that, so yeah, I would. 2 mile Grade 1 Matheson Hurdle, State Man beating Parapass just over 3 lengths here. State Man, I thought were very good here. I think he looks a bit better than last year. In Parapass, thought ran well. First sort of crack at the 2 milers, and thought it ran well. This were only 26 days after the Hatton's Grace. He had a tough enough race there first time out, and I didn't think his jumping were quite as slick. I wonder if he were quite, if he were just not, maybe still feeling the effects a little bit from that, I'm not sure. I think he could be maybe a bit better than this, but still maybe not up to State Man. But I do think he could be a bit better than this. Say they were on about Stays Hurdle. I don't see that. I think he'll take the State Man on again at the DRF, and I think maybe he could get a little bit closer as well. In which case, then I think they'd be both going champion hurdle. We said, didn't we, beginning of the season, Should have gone chasing this horse. It just seems a waste of a season to me, this. You know, we had him back, didn't we, there for the Turners, but they might think they're a good thing for the Turners next year, but then we've got Il Atlantique, haven't we? Probably some others as well. The bumper that closed the card, Jalon du Deriz beat Redemption Day 3 lengths or so here. Gordon seemed very positive about this afterwards, saying he's basically his number one bump horse and Jack will be riding him. So there you go. I've not jumped on him just yet. I haven't even looked at prices, to be honest. Happy to leave that race for a little while, but it does seem like this is Gordon's chosen one. He were good here. He looks a cracking prospect for the future, he does. Right then, Saturday 30th, we're getting there. Newbury, 2 mile introductory hurdle. Jericho de Rapinay beat Secret Squirrel 2 lengths or so. Again, he impressed here with his jumping and travelling. I think the form could be useful here. They weren't exposed, the ones he's beat, weren't they? They all had ones next to them, so it could be good form, this. We don't quite know yet. He looks to have plenty left under the bonnet. He looks all over. He looks Nicky Supreme horse now, doesn't he? He's into a top price 5 to 1, and I've still not backed him. And we were that close, weren't we, at 20s? Yeah, that's probably my biggest regret so far, I suppose. Well, going in big on Vassar Vega and not taking the 20s for this fella. And on art, he looks like Supreme winner to me, he does. 5 to 1 now. Still not backed him. But yeah, I think he looks like he could be a bit special to me anyway. He can knock the form and all that, but who knows what the form is? You know, it looked like, who knows? Grade 1 2.5 mile shallow hurdle. Captain Teague beat Look Away 1.5 lengths. This was slow motion finished, and it didn't look pretty, this. None of these are on my radar for Cheltenham. I don't think these are Cheltenham horses. Will Mount blew out here. Yeah, I think it was a bit too much for him, the testing ground, 2.5 miles. You think dropping back to 2 mile on decent ground, he could improve again. But yeah, not for me, for Cheltenham. Sunday, 31st. Punchestown, 3 mile beginners. Monty Star beat 3 card brag 5.5 lengths here. I hope you want him. I thought he was a good price here. He jumped superbly. He was fantastic, weren't he? I'd say he's improved plenty. We thought he'd improve a lot from that first run, and he certainly has. He's a lively player, I'd say, for RSA. We're on at 50s, he's into 20s now, and yeah, he's a lively player. I like him, love this horse, I do. He were heavy ground here, you'd like to see him on better ground, I guess. But yeah, I like the horse a lot, and yeah, he's a player. The 3-year-old maiden hurdle, Stormheart, he hosed up here by 22 lengths. He sort of burst on the scene for the triumph for Willie here. He's a contender for sure. 2 mile 3 hurdle, Sir Gerhard, he beat the Devil's Coachman, best part of 3 lengths here. Did this well. Yeah, I think he's finally toppled over into that recycle bin, hasn't he, for the Ryanair. He stays hurdle bound now, and if he stays, he's got a big chance. I just don't know if he stays. I don't. It never looked like he's wanted 3 mile to me. But maybe as they get older, they do stay a bit further, don't they? He's got the class anyway. He'd be dangerous in the stairs, and he's a contender for sure. Right then, and then on to 2024, Monday the 1st. Right, yeah, like I say, just skip through these a bit now. Stage start, he blew out here, didn't he? He did have excuses, come back, so I think he landed on the top of the fence there. You don't like backing a horse for grade 1 at Cheltenham with a P next to the name, do you? But I guess he's still a contender there for the Ryanair, but that race looks kind of wide open at the minute, and I'd say probably Envoy Allen, last year's winners, in the driving seat for that now. I would. Sorry, I didn't look back. I know one of our ramblers there has been banging on about him for a while now. From 20 to 1. I think he's into about 10s now. Yeah, he's I think if I had to have a bet right now in the race, I think he'd probably be the one. 2.5 mile grade 2 Relkeel. Bob, he continued his renaissance here, didn't he? And he put away Marie's Rock by 7 lengths. Rachel went for that daring run, didn't she, up the inner? You gotta love how she rides. She's brave. And came off, and yeah, apparently he's going to the Aintree Hurdle. And yeah, it's just nice to see him back. He's done it twice in a row now. Still have a little bit of doubt, but yeah, it's lovely to see. He'll be going to the Aintree Hurdle, possibly maybe taking the champion along the way, I don't know. Fairyhouse, 2 mile 5.5 furlong grade 3 mares chase. Allegory blew out here. We only had a point on her, but she's in the bid as well. Riviere de Tel, this looked a perfect setup for her, I think, right-handed, 2.5 miles, soft ground, small field, yeah, and she came right back to her best here. Disappointing from Allegory de Vasse, hoping she'd build on that and put in a big performance here, but no, can't be having her for the mares chase here. And just while I've got the mares chase in mind, I missed it off here somehow, but the JP horse that won at Donny the other day came second in the Troy Town. She looks to be improving fast. I think she looks a player in this mares chase. We've got a few candidates there. Hauturier, I thought, the JP horse that won at Donny, they look interesting, I'd say, for the mares chase. And we haven't seen Halk, have we? I was hoping we'd see Halk over Christmas. I'd imagine you'd want 3 runs before going to Cheltenham, so she's going to have to be coming out in the next week or 2. I'm just getting a bit nervous for her now. Just want to see her come out again. So yeah, hopefully all's okay with Halka. But yeah, she's got a few more contenders now to deal with than she had before. 2 mile 5.5 beginners. Nick Rocket beat Tactical Move by 7 lengths here. He came from that race, didn't he? Corbett's Cross, Montestar, Nick Rocket race. His last 3 runs have been at Fairyhouse now, and Willie's got a lot of balls to juggle with these novice chasers. Embassy Gardens could be his 4 miler. He's got Grange Clare West, Factor File. He's got plenty, hasn't he? And I just wonder, we have in his last 3 runs at Fairyhouse, if they're going to hold this guy back for the Irish National. It's just a possibility. He had a hurdles rating of 146. Yeah, so I think he'd be sort of high 140s maybe for the Irish National. they might have that in the back of the mind. I guess it'll probably depend what happens along the way with the others there. I think it's just a possibility. But if not, yeah, he's a contender for Cheltenham for sure for the RSA and the 4 miler. And that's it. Hang on an hour. No. Performance of Christmas, that's an easy one. Galloping Deschamps, the king is back. And yeah, as a fan of horse racing, that were brilliant. It were. Second, I've got to get this French thing. I'm sorry, apologise, but this Le Francais, yeah, that were a bit special as well. The third one, there were a lot of contenders here, but I gave it to Irish Point. I was really impressed with Irish Point. There were a lot in beginners and maiden hurdles you could have made a case for. But I gave it to grade 1, Irish Point. I thought good. Right, so in summary then, I guess the Arkle and the Gold Cup picture look a lot clearer now at this stage. But again, you never know. Things happen, don't they? But they do. The rest of it has all become a bit more muddied to me. I think, for me anyway, there seems to be more sort of questions than answers from it all. Yeah. There's no doubt our squad's not looking as strong as it were before, although there is some notable exceptions in there. I ain't got time for the ante-post roundup as well today. I'm going to try, well, I'll try and do a video Friday. I'm not going to be around next week, so if I do one Friday, it'll be then. If not, it'll have to be the week after. But we will catch up with that. We've had a lot, haven't we? And yeah, that's it. So thanks for your time there. I do appreciate it, I do. And I'll see you again soon. Alright, bye.